Paddle TV is brought to you by Yakima, the world's finest car racks and trailers. Find the perfect rack to get your boat to the water safely at yakima.com. Welcome back to Facing Waves. This week, we're paddling Newfoundland's Harpoon Island. After getting my fill of the rough water on the exposed side of the island, I'm joined by Ed English to explore some of the more sheltered coves and bays that surround the island. There's a cove we knew was going to be protected from the wind, but it requires dragging our kayaks in, hardly a kilometer, more like half a kilometer. It's actually a nice drag. The moss, the bog makes it really easy to drag in. Not bad on the kayaks at all. You come over the hill and you're looking at one of the most gorgeous coastlines that you could imagine. Everywhere you've got berries. These are wild blueberries. There's all these bake apples right now, which is a berry that's unique, not just to Harpoon Island and Newfoundland, but you don't find them many places. If you ever come this way, you gotta try the bake apple jam.
So what I normally do for guests is I have kayaks stashed in at least 3 different coves. So as it's been for the last couple of days now, howling wind on one side, here we are, we're over in nice sheltered water. So there's always some way you can get out to play. I would say maybe 50% of the people I take out have never paddled before, or maybe have tried it once or twice somewhere. So it's a very a destination that you can really gauge people's ability quickly, get them in shallow water, calm water, and see how they feel with it and bring them out. But if they're not comfortable in the open seas, you can still have a full day of fun. So it's not a high-end needed in terms of experience. I started Linkum Tours back in the mid-90s, and it was all about getting people to explore Newfoundland, whether that's cultural-based tours like going around to see art exhibitions and theater and things like that, but also my natural inclination is to get outdoors and play. So we've been kayaking for years, done a lot of kayaking. So we wanted to do the kayaking tours, but it's a multi-kind of faceted destination. When I first bought the place, a friend of mine said, more people are going to go out there with a book than a kayak paddle, don't you? And he's right. We get a lot of people, I've had people come on kayak tours and spend far more time reading than to do kayaking. So it's just about having the option. And we're hardcore kayakers, but most of our clients aren't hardcore kayakers. They like it, they've done it a few times, they want to get out and try it, and they want to do it in spectacular destinations.
Man, one of the coolest things about paddling around Harpoon Island is that wherever you pull out, if you need to stretch your legs, just find a little cove, you can pull out, and then because you can hike anywhere, you don't have to have trails, there's no thick forest to worry about. You just pull out, go for a quick hike, and get awesome looks at the whole island. Man. Did I mention the berries?
I've got a plan.
What's that?
If we head out around the corner right here, just as we're pushing off, I realized how low the water is. We just paddle right around the corner. There's a nice little mussel bed. We can reach down, grab a little feed for supper. Sound good?
Sounds good. That means you're offering to cook dinner, I guess.
I am.
All right.
I'm cooking the hors d'oeuvres. I'm not cooking dinner. I think there's a better qualified person to cook dinner than me.
Fresh mussels, sold.
Done.
So let's take a minute and look at the gear that I used on this trip to Newfoundland and that I think you should consider for your next paddling trip. Starting from the top, I was using Current Design's Scirocco Kayak, which is just a roto-molded version of their Gulfstream composite kayak. Now, the Scirocco was a perfect kayak for the rough conditions that I saw around Newfoundland. It's a fast kayak, accelerates quickly, but what I really like is the fact that it's so maneuverable as well. It has enough rocker so that you can turn the boat quickly when you need to. Now, when the weather's warm and the skies are clear, you can pretty much get away with any paddling gear. But when the conditions are like what we had in Newfoundland, you need to have top quality gear. And that's why I was using Level 6's paddling gear. Now, Level 6 has paddling gear for pretty much any condition. What I was using primarily on this trip was their Orion dry suit and the new Superior 2.0 paddling top. Both great products for dealing with cold conditions and very comfortable. Now, your paddle is your connection to the water, and so it's important that you have a good one, especially if you're going to be spending a long day on the water in rough conditions. That's why I was using two of my favorite paddles, Aquabound Surge Carbon and Aquabound's Manta Ray Carbon paddle. Now both of these paddles are lightweight, they feel great in your hands, they take a licking, and they do an incredible job of transferring your power into propulsion. Last but not least, when you're dealing with rough terrain and a rough coastline, having a good pair of water shoes is absolutely essential. And that's why I was using, as always, Body Gloves 3T barefoot shoes. They're comfortable, they're durable, and they provide incredible foot dexterity. Of course, there's lots of gear options out there, but that's the gear that I use and that I think you should consider for your next trip.